Hi, I'm Dorothy Gable, and this is the Biblical Dementia Caregiving channel. Today I'm going to talk about good resources to help you on your caregiving journey. If you found this video helpful, click the like and don't forget to subscribe. I want to make one other comment before I dive into my top favorite books by caregivers for caregivers as references. So my mom was told by a doctor that she didn't have Alzheimer's. So I never found anything to help with dementia, because I knew that she had some kind of problem like dementia, but everything was titled Alzheimer's. And since it didn't say dementia, I ignored it. Many of the books and resources that are about Alzheimer's are general enough that they will also help your loved one with dementia, even if they have been diagnosed with a different disease and they think that Alzheimer's is not involved. So even if Alzheimer's is in the title, don't discount it. Now, there are resources such as books, but there's also many articles and YouTube videos online that are very helpful for your particular issue, whether it's wandering or sundowning or the denial that you see with anosognosia. There are resources out there online that can be helpful. The other thing that's very helpful is your local community. There are awesome, fantastic support groups out there, and it's encouragement to get together with others who are facing some of the same challenges. You might have solved a problem that they need an answer to, and vice versa, where you're sharing your issue, they'll go, oh, this is what I did. If they don't recognize me, I walk out of the room and I come back in. There we go. Now, I'm going to start with some general resources, and I will be listing some online websites that I have found that are particularly good. The URLs are going to be available on screen as well as in the description, so you can follow up later if you didn't get a chance to write it all down. Of course, my very favorite book on dementia is the one I wrote. I wrote it not just for Alzheimer's type, but I also wrote it for dementia in general. It has a caregiver's index as well as a bibliography. It's sourced, and it goes through the various stages to help you on your caregiving journey. Another excellent resource is by medical professionals, and this is like the encyclopedia on resources, starting with diagnosis and treatment and where to go for help, and various types of residential communities, help aids, and other things. So this is a go-to book. The 36-hour day, it's available everywhere, so you should be able to find it. And this one, there's a wonderful story in this. Dr. McQuiken was a biblical ethicist and also a seminary president. When his wife developed dementia, he took a sabbatical to take care for her. And he talks about the loving journey and the blessing from the Lord and how the Lord helped him through it. And also talks about how, the Lord gave his life for us that we might live. And the Lord calls us sometimes to make sacrifices for our loved one. And he talks about this journey in this wonderful book. It is a great book to give to someone whose spouse has dementia. Now we're going to talk about some of my favorite online websites for general dementia caregiving are Dementia Care Central, and there's Dementia Society of America, the Family Caregiver Alliance, and the National Institute of Health, a government website, has an excellent section on various types of diseases. Type in dementia or Alzheimer's, and they have excellent articles and videos. All of these online resources have articles and videos and aids that will help you with your journey there. Now I'm going to talk about some books that are specific for Alzheimer's alone. My favorite one was Untangling Alzheimer's by Dr. Cummings. She's a gerontologist who has dedicated her career to helping caregivers deal with their loved one with Alzheimer's. And this is an excellent book on the progression explains why they're acting the way they do, as well as tips. It's excellently well done. So check this book out. It's available online on Amazon. Another one that was an excellent resource was Lela Knox Shanks' story of her caring for her husband with Alzheimer's. Your Name is Hughes, Hannibal, Shanks, A Caregiver's Guide to Alzheimer's. Now, her husband developed Alzheimer's in the 1990s, where there weren't a lot of resources, not the resources that you have available today. She had many out-of-the-box, creative, affordable solutions that made it possible for her to care for her husband in her home. And she talks a lot about giving time for yourself and getting people to sit with her husband so that she could go out for a period of time to kind of decompress and reconnect with herself. So these are the two books that I found the most helpful. Now there are others out there. You can find those in the libraries or online. Whatever helps you, that is going to be the thing that's going to help you with it. The Alzheimer's website, alz.org, is the main one for Alzheimer's as well as for dementia in general. They also have a 1-800 hotline that is fantastic. There are online representatives who'll be able to help you with your problem. So don't hesitate to call the hotline. They're there to help you. Now, frontotemporal dementias, the diseases that cause frontotemporal dementia are varied. And so it depends upon which part of the brain it interacts with. So that makes a point about if the dementia starts in the right side of your head, you're going to have various kinds of behavior and progression that's different than if it starts in the front. This is the best resource for all the various types of diseases that cause frontotemporal degeneration, with caregiving helps as well as medical advice and suggestions for when you might need to consider a residential facility for your loved one with dementia. It's by the Radins. They've personally had relatives with these diseases, as well as they also have worked directly with the medical community. So this is an excellent resource for caregiving plus medical help as well. The Frontotemporal Degeneration Association has the absolute best website for these diseases. The URL is going to be available online. They have a detailed series of newsletters called Partners in Care, and I will be giving the description of how to find these newsletters in the description. So Partners in Care will look at particular issues such as what to do if your loved one is binge eating and you can't get them to stop eating, how you handle if your loved one needs to go into a residential facility, and understanding, how to handle their transition into it, and many other types of issues that you're going to face with frontotemporal degeneration. Now to move on to the Lewy body dementia. With Lewy body dementia, the Lewy bodies form in the upper cortex of the brain as opposed to being lower down in the brainstem for Parkinson's, where we see movement disorders. With Lewy body dementia, when they're higher up in the brain, it impacts the brain's abilities to connect with each other for like the visual cortex information to get to the front of the brain. Also, it impacts thinking and cognitive, but it also impacts the autonomic system, so that your loved one might have problems with stable blood pressure, they might have digestive issues, their body might not respond well to various over-the-counter medications. So you need to keep all these things in mind when you're dealing with Lewy body dementia. The absolute best book on Lewy body dementia is A Caregiver's Guide to Lewy body dementia by the Whitworths. And they have a wonderful story in that both of their spouses had Lewy body dementia, and after the spouse passed, having met each other in support care groups, they began to work together on helping other caregivers deal with their loved ones with Lewy body dementia. This is very well sourced, organized with great caregiving tips, as well as ways to deal with medications and how to understand if a drug that they're taking now is not helping them at this point. The other one is Living with Lewy Body Dementia by Judy, Towne, Jennings. She's a physical therapist whose husband developed Lewy body dementia, and she has awesome tips and helps on helping your loved ones stay mobile, keep their balance, what to do to reduce falls, and also about how to understand when burnout is happening and how to deal with it. She talks a lot about how journaling and how the Lord helped her through all this. There is the Lewy Body Association website for Lewy body dementia issues. So these are my favorite books for caregivers. Don't forget to seek out other places as well. But most of all, the biggest help is the Lord will be with you through it all. Share your burdens with your fellowship. Don't forget to ask for help and seek answers when you are struggling with an issue. Thanks for watching. Thanks to my videographer and producer, my husband Ralph Gable, creator of Electronics for the Inquisitive Experimenter.